Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Tuesday. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the like button on this video as well as all our other videos. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Big Red Zone and tell a friend. This week, we're talking Bruins. They're up 3-1 in the first round. Celtics got a nice win, and we'll dive into the next series against the Nets. A big star is rumored to come to the Patriots, so we'll jump into that. And the Sox stay hot. All that and more on this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by Danny Football.
Boston sports are buzzing, baby. We're back.
Yeah, this is the first episode in a long time that we've had all four teams our topics.
Something's going on. We're clicking again.
Something is in the air, Danny Football. We are almost back. Boston sports is almost back. There was a night the other day, a couple weeks ago, where everyone lost. Bruins, Sox, and Celtics all lost in the same day. I was like, wow, I haven't felt this feeling in a long time. I haven't felt this disappointed, but they all won. I think also too in the last month. Like all
you got to go through it sometimes. Come on, but we're looking positive now.
We're looking really positive. Two of our teams right now are in the playoffs. One I think has a little more of a more positive outlook on how they're looking in the series. And we'll start with them. Let's talk about Bruins. Up 3-1, as I said, in the first round against the Washington Capitals. Last episode we talked about how they lost game one on an OT goal, but we felt good. We still felt strong. Next two games they follow them up with.
They won game two on the air last week, dude.
They won game two on the air. That's right. I forgot about that. And then in an
game
OT
three
goal,
overtime win, and then game four just ran him out of the gym.
Double overtime win in game
that was
three.
A long game.
That was a long game. I played basketball that night, and it started, and they were like giving me updates throughout the third period. And when I got home, I thought it was over. They still had two more overtime periods to play.
I finally got home in time for the third period, and then it just kept rolling on. So I made a night of it.
Yeah. But Dave Football, thoughts? What do we think? What are we thinking going into game 5, which is tonight?
Going into game 5, obviously my big thing is we need to shut the door now. Don't give the Caps any hope. Don't let them back in the series. End it now. Move on to the next series. Kind of seeing how the momentum is going right now. I mean, now's the time. Game 1, rough overtime loss. Game 2, Marchand ends it in less than a minute. Game 3, huge mistake by Samsonov, leaving the puck behind the net, abandons it. We pick it up, score the goal, 2-1 series now. And then, like I said, game 4 was just a complete beatdown. Ovechkin, we were laying him to waste on the ice, scoring goals left and right. Tuukka Rask standing on his head like usual. So, I mean, 3 straight wins. We have all the momentum. We're the better team. End it now. Let's just get moving. Let's get moving. Don't let Alex Ovechkin get hot.
Yeah, we got to put it away now. All the momentum's on your side. You can't give him any hope. It gives us a little more rest going into the next series if we can end it now too. You get a couple extra days, get some legs under you, especially after playing 3 overtime games and including one extra double overtime game. We definitely need, could use some rest, get healed up a little bit. And like you said, Alex Ovechkin, don't let them get hot. They got some veterans on that team.
Oshie, Wilson, all those guys. I mean,
yeah.
I'd rather
Chara. Send Chara home.
We have a
now.
chance to send Chara home and look like the winners in that little breakup. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Game 5. I'm excited for the Bruins to put this to bed, and I'm excited to see how we can make this playoff run.
Do you have faith in this team going forward? Say they can put them away tonight. Do you have faith? Does this look like a championship caliber team?
1,000%. I think this team has as good a chance to win the cup as, say, the 2018 team, maybe the team that lost to the Blackhawks too. This seems like a really complete team. They're all having fun. They're all clicking on all cylinders. Raska's playing great. Marchand's playing great. You're getting contributions out of Bergeron. You have McAvoy contributing. You have Pasta contributing. So I feel like everyone's starting to hit their strides right now, and we can ride this. If everyone stays hot and everyone stays healthy, we can do this.
A big one that I saw was Pasternak, because usually Pasta is great in the regular season the last few years, but he's absolutely stunk in the playoffs
Right.
the last few years.
And
So
that's been the problem the last couple of playoff runs, is that some guys get too cold and then it hurts us. Right now, I feel like everyone's playing just well enough that they're not cold. They're either scorching hot or they're playing themselves.
that's why I was glad to see Pasta get one in the net last game. Like it kind of gives you some confidence, gives him some confidence.
In, baby. See one go in, and then the
That's
rest
all
come.
it is. Also, can we sign Taylor Hall now and not wait for the
Dude, what an addition that was. We ripped the Celtics for not making moves. How about tip of the cap to the Bruins, realizing you have a problem, getting the best guy available, and you're reaping the benefits now.
And I feel like when they got him, they were kind of in a downward spiral. They were kind of struggling in their part of the season. Since they've got him, it's just been fresh air. He's scoring goals. He's bringing energy to his line. And it's an unbelievable addition. Like you said, Danny could have used a couple of those. Could have used a Taylor Hall out there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I hope they re-sign this guy. He's kind of like when I imagine equated to the Celtics, it's kind of like a veteran scorer like Fournier is, but you need to add more than Fournier. They should have added him earlier, and on the last year of his deal. That's like a great addition by the Bruins. He loves playing for the Bruins, so I really hope they sign him to a new contract in this offseason.
A Stanley Cup will help in negotiations, man. That's all I can say.
It definitely will help convince him to come back. But yeah, like I said, we talked about the big takeaway is I'm glad that we got Pasta scoring and kind of getting involved a little bit. He's getting a lot of shots on net, which is good, but finally to see one go through, which is something that he's struggled with in the postseason. It's good to see. Gives you confidence, gives him confidence. Yeah, they need to put it away tonight. Hopefully next week we talk about we're in the middle of the next series when we're talking. So
I'm ready to talk more playoff hockey. Let's do it.
Moving on to another playoff team that we got little less of a positive look. Celtics, they won their playing game this past week. And like we said, their reward was to play the Brooklyn Nets. Before we get into it, I thought they looked really good in that playing game. The big key was Kemba. Tatum, obviously, with his 50. But Kemba looked really good with, I think, 29. So I had a lot of confidence if Kemba was playing like that, and he's been playing like that the last week or so of the season. He's been, even though the team struggled, he's been playing pretty well. He put up a stinker yesterday. He was pretty awful.
Dude. I've been telling people if they're going to be able to do this without Jaylen Brown, Kemba needs to be able to be playing like vintage Kemba and be that second option. And he was not that last night, man. That was rough.
I thought he was going to start off because he started off the game pretty good. He got a huge, deep, Steph Curry range 3 in Kyrie's face. It was awesome. Then he got a charge on Harden. I didn't know he's one of the people leading the league in charges taken. And he had a couple blow-bys. In the first quarter, everyone looked really good.
When you're blowing out the Nets, everyone looks good. And then, Celtics on a Celtic, they put their foot off the gas.
The problem was, I don't know if it's so much they took the foot off the gas. The problem was Kemba got 2 quick, cheap fouls that weren't fouls. So he had to sit. That got him cold. JT got 2 fouls. They let him Tatum. I don't think Brad took him out any more than he would have. He might have rested him a little bit. But when you get 2 fouls on you, you get 3 fouls on you. Then Kemba had 3 in the second quarter. It's you start second guessing yourself. You don't go for every ball. You don't especially in the second quarter. So, I think that was pretty bad fouls. I was tweeting the whole game. The officiating was awful in that game. It was so incredibly one-sided in that game. And it was every call for Harden, not really Harden, but every call for KD. It was just embarrassing. It was every ball that would go up, push in the back from Brooklyn, never called. smacking, hacking. On one end, they come down and you give them a little pat on the butt, and it's like a foul. It was tough to watch. It was very annoying to watch. But no excuse. Like Tatum and Kemba's got to play better in the second half. Like that's absolutely terrible. I forget what they said, but I think Tatum didn't score. Like he got his first points in the closing minutes of the third quarter. For the third quarter, like he didn't really score at all in the third quarter. It was pretty awful. I forget what it was, but they shot a combined. What was it? Kemba and Tatum shot a gross number from the floor. It was like a couple for like 35. Like it was pretty awful. So they got to play better. And if you're looking for bright spots, you're looking no further than Time Lord and Jabari Parker. Those are like the two bright spots for me in that game.
It was definitely, it's tough to see. You get off to a good start, and then it kind of, falls apart on you. Between the officiating, shots falling, defensive stops, missed shots. I would have loved to have seen them be able to put a complete game together, punch Brooklyn in the mouth, and take game one. But I think they showed just enough that they can stick around in this series. I don't think it was so bad that it's clearly going to be Brooklyn series. I think we showed enough that we can win a couple games and make it interesting. I definitely wouldn't say the series is over after game one. The officiating, hopefully that figures itself out. Hopefully the foul trouble figures itself out. But we also need Kemba to show up, and we also need JT to lead. So it's going to fall on the guys staying mentally prepared and physically prepared and playing their games because, a first-round exit to Brooklyn isn't going to look good.
Yeah. Now, two things. One thing I will say, in the first half, I felt my one knock on Jason Tatum has always been, like in his first couple of years, was does he make the people around him better? And I saw in that first half a conscious effort, like the most I've seen since he's been a Celtic, of trying to make other people. He was setting other people up. When they double on him, instead of forcing up a fadeaway jump shot, he'd lob it up to Rob for a dunk or see the open guy. Like he was extra looking for other people to pass to in this game. Maybe that's because he was shooting like 1 for 35, or I think he was trying to make people around him better. And I think that's a key going forward, not just in this series, but in his tenure with the Celtics and in his career. Like, I think he needs to make a more conscious effort to do that. Because that, like, when you do that, we punched Brooklyn in the mouth in the first half, and they were like, geez, what's going on here? And I think that was a key to it. Jason Tatum was making people around him better, which is something that I haven't really seen out of him in his career.
And that's something that's really important because if you're getting double teamed, that means someone's open. You need to find that open person. So if everyone knows Jason Tatum's the best player on the Celtics team, they all know he's the best player on the court. You know where the defense is going. You know what the assignments are. So it's up to Jason Tatum to realize I can't physically get to the hoop right now. I have two guys on me. Let me find the next best option. And then that option needs to hit their shot.
Yeah. 100%. The other thing I was thinking about, and I will never say this as a Celtics fan, I want them to beat Brooklyn. I want to really believe in it. But in the back of my head, if we win the series or we win a game in the series or we play well throughout the series, I just have this feeling that they're going to say, like, see, we're only a piece away. There's going to be the green teamers that say, or Danny can say, you know what, we're very close. We don't need to do much this offseason. We can just draft again. Like, as much as it pains me to say, the more we win, the more farther away we get from winning it all. Because now we're going to say, see, we got the pieces in here. We just need to add a couple people. No, you need to add some serious pieces in this offseason. You need to go make a trade to get a star in here to play with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
I'm afraid they're going to use Jason Brown didn't play in the playoffs,
right,
so we can run it back next season with Jaylen Brown. And
that's what I'm saying.
Which isn't going to happen. You need better pieces. You need more pieces than just a returning Jaylen Brown. We know what this team looks like with Jaylen Brown in there, and it's even if he was there, there would still be question marks with the bench and substitution questions. There's no get out of jail free card because Jason Brown happens to have a season-ending injury. We can't let this just slide.
Right. We need to make some serious moves. We can't go into the draft and stay pat and draft the same player, like draft a couple guys in the draft. You need to trade your first round picks. You need to trade some of these young guys, and we need to get established players in here. I thought Tristan Thompson played great. I mean, the stats don't show that much, but he had 4 points and 10 rebounds, and but his leadership on the floor, like guys like that, role guy, like Tristan Thompson would be great if he's the backup center. Like that would be an awesome addition for the Celtics. Just as like some calming voice for people to listen to, like just relax, like this is what we got to do, blah, blah, blah. Like Jabari Parker has been playing excellent, and he's kind of the same thing. He's like a veteran guy that's been around a little bit. Evan Fournier, same thing. Like we need to bring in more of these guys like we did in 2008 when we brought in a bunch of veteran guys that can play and win this game. I'm not saying like let's get rid of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and let's get rid of Brad, let's get rid of Danny, let's get rid of, even Marcus Smart. I just think that we need to start like maybe move Kemba to bring in Bradley Beal. Maybe go get I'd have to look at the free agent list. I don't know who's a free agent, but go get two solid, maybe not the best, but two solid older players to bring in here to give some veteran leadership. And I think this team could be good. It's easier said than done. Like I made it sound simple, but it's like, it's going to take a lot of work this offseason, but Danny's got to make some moves to do it. Like, I think more than Brad, I think Danny should be a little more on the hot seat than Brad because this team he's admitted.
You can't be afraid to make some major changes this offseason.
Right. But with that said, I mean, like I said, Rob Williams set a record, most blocks in a playoff game. I think he was one away from setting the all-time like NBA record. That man, like, and when he was on the floor, it just felt like a new energy. He almost had a triple-double in blocks, rebounds, and points. This is what we've been saying all season. Like the potential is there. Rob Williams can be a huge game changer for this team. It's his health. Yeah.
He's healthy to a degree right now, but, it only takes his turf toe to act up, and all of a sudden he's not playing, and then we suffer because of it. So Rob needs to continue this production, but he also needs to be able to stay on the court.
Yeah. I would like to see them get one at least. Like, obviously it doesn't look too good for them. We knew this coming in. They got to play absolutely perfect basketball to have a chance to win. Not even to win. They need to play perfect to have a chance to win. They can't have the classic Celtics third quarter where they let them go on a 20-0 run and then get down in the game, and then there's no way to get back. So it's I hope they can put together at least one complete game of solid basketball. I really hope it's against Kyrie when Kyrie comes back to Boston. The guy's been ducking us for 2 years now. Ducking the fans. I can't wait for him to just get obliterated, booed when he comes back into Boston. Like I hope the Garden lets him hear it.
I'd like to see him get both those Boston games.
The Celtics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it would be nice to get two, but it's gonna be really tough. And that's just like the 9th game all season, I think, that the big three of Brooklyn's play together. So that's like they're only going to continue to grow stronger and stronger. So that's why I agreed with what you said. Like they really, if they wanted a chance in the series, they needed game one because that would have been like a big like whoa, holy shnikes, like what's going on here? Game one, like Brooklyn's kind of on their heels. Now it's like that they took your best punch, I think, and they were able to win the game. So I don't know. Let's see if they can put together some good minutes on Tuesday. And then when they come to Boston, it's a new animal, man. Game 4, I think, is when the capacity limit is up.
There we go. Let the jungle loose.
So it's going to be a jungle in Boston on Game 4. But, yeah, so hopefully they can get one. Maybe two. Let's move on to NBA playoff recap. Just looking around the NBA. Real quick. Close one in between the Bucks and the Heat. That was a great game. Went into overtime. Jimmy Buckets got a nice shot at the end of regulation to send it into overtime. And then Middleton, he's a beast. He put the game away in the closing seconds. He had a game winner. So Bucks are up in the Heat 1-0 going into game 2. Mavs, I thought was a huge upset over the Clippers. I'm shocked, man. Like the Clippers should be up in that series. But Mavs got one. They're leading up. They're leading the series 1-0. That was huge. That was a big upset. Blazers beat up on the Nuggets, and the Phillies beat the Wizards in their game ones. And right now, I got to check. They were still in the middle of their game.
They won 99-90.
Oh, the Lakers came back a little bit.
No, the Sun. Yeah. They came back a little bit, but the Suns closed it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So the Suns they were beating up on the Lakers, but the Lakers made it a little close. Suns beat the Lakers today in game one, so they take a 1-0 lead. LeBron, who broke his protocol, Danny Football, doesn't seem to be suspended because he was out there today.
Rules don't apply to LeBron. We all know that. You know, he always has to fight through adversity, fake injuries, flop, break protocol rules. Doesn't apply to him. So he just kind of gets to do whatever he wants. It's just another footnote in his history of saying, well, CP3 undercut me in game one against the Suns, and I must have torn my shoulder, but I got right back up and I played. And no, you were fine. You threw yourself to the floor, and you broke the rules, but they don't apply to you. So you just feel free to play, LeBron.
I better not. I can't. That's why I can't stand LeBron. He'll be on his high horse about like what's right and what's wrong, and then he breaks the rules. He told us all wear masks, like social distance, which is the right thing to say. But then he breaks the rules anyway, and he doesn't get punished for it. So, like, I can't. That's the kind of stuff I can't stand about LeBron. He's like
he's definitely a hypocrite.
He's a hypocrite. He's full of crap. I can't take it, and he should. It's like he should pay the price for breaking the rules. He should. It's a 14-game minimum out. So why isn't he out for 14 days? Oh, because the league needs him to play. So get out of here, dude. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. I really can't. So that's a little bit of a playoffs. We got game 1 too. We didn't even talk about that. We got Hawks Knicks at 7 tonight, so in another half hour. Hopefully the Knicks can pull out. I'm rooting for the Knicks. And Jazz Grizzlies game 1 later tonight at 9:30. So we'll have to see how those series play out. Now let's get to our picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
So for picks of the week, we pick a game each week. We usually do Tuesdays, but we just decided to pick game 2 NBA games. Danny Football, who you got?
We broke the curse. We're good. I picked the Celtics over the Wizards, and they did it. So we should be good to go now that we have some good juju going. So I'm going to go Celtics over Nets in game 2.
Ride the hot hand.
Riding the hot hand. Curse broken. We're going to go Celtics over Nets. Win game 2. Series is split 1-1, coming back to Boston. 2 games on the parquet. Anything can happen. Fans in the stands. Let's ride. We got this.
I love it. I hope you're right. I'm going Suns over the prima donna Lakers. I hope
those Suns go, baby. I knew this team was good.
I hope that's a great call, Danny Football. I didn't think they were going to be this good. I thought they were going to be good, like a low seed playoff game team, but I didn't think they were going to be this good. So I give Danny credit where credit is due. Danny Football, big call, big time call.
Here to stay. Here they come.
So I'm going Suns over Lakers. Okay, so before we move on, after picks of the week, before we move on to Patriots and Red Sox, we did our midseason awards about a month ago, and they now have the final 3 finalists for each of the awards. So I think Danny Football and I are just going to go over them, react, and pick who we think is going to be the winner out of these 3. So you want to work up to the MVP or start with the MVP?
Yeah, give me the one you want to start with, and then I'll just find it.
All right. Well, I have them up here. I can give you the names.
Okay.
We'll start with MVP. We have Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic.
I think Curry's going to win because he seems to have the most fanfare about it. But I think Joel Embiid should win it because I do think he was the most valuable player this season.
I agree. I think, Steph Curry basically carried that team to victory, to the playing game series.
Arguably should have been the 8 seed
Arguably should have been the 8 seed.
on a
and
lucky LeBron shot. Everyone crapped on Jason Tatum for his bank shot against the Bucks opening night and called it a lucky shot. That was a lucky shot. That was not skill. That was a lucky shot.
It was absolutely disgusting. So, and I mean, they kind of got caught with their pants down against
Nick Wright was down on his hands and knees, kissing LeBron's feet, saying,
my goodness.
That was the most.
I want to hear what Nick Wright has to say.
That was the most skilled 3-point shot I've ever seen. Meanwhile, he's ripping Jason Tatum for taking a bank shot.
I want to hear what Nick. The words that I never thought would come out of my mouth. I want to hear what Nick Wright has to say about LeBron James breaking COVID protocols and going out and not paying the price. I want to hear what he has to say.
I'm sure. I'm sure he just defended it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I hope they lose 4-0. I really can't stand them. But I disagree with you, Danny Football. I think Nikola Jokic was the most valuable player. Just the stats that he's putting up. I mean, also Jamal Murray goes down with an ACL. They don't skip a beat because of him. I think if he's not on that team is a dumpster fire team. I mean, they got some good pieces, but I'm sticking with my MVP pick. He was my pick a while ago. I'm going with Nikola Jokic. We'll try to go through these quick. NBA Coach of the Year, we got Quinn Snyder, the Utah Jazz, Tom Thibodeau, Monte Williams.
I think it has to be Tom Thibodeau. Oh,
yeah. I can I be honest? This is the best 3, I think, finalists for Coach of the Year I've seen in a long time. All 3 have reason to win. Utah Jazz, Quinn Snyder, without him, I mean, they had the best record in the league. Tom Thibodeau, Knicks were nowhere near we thought were going to be this good, and they're 4 seed. And Monte Williams, but if your name's not Danny Football, you didn't think the Suns were going to be a number 2 seed in the West. So, I mean, all 3 are deserving. I've been gassing up the Knicks for the last 2 months, but I got to stick with my pick, Monte Williams. I think from start to finish, they've been solid. I think they have a chance to be a real contender. And I think he's helped lift this team out of the darkness. I can see the Tom Thibodeau reference because there's only really one guy. I mean, looking at that team, beside Julius Randle, like we knew he was a stud. There's no one really else I can think of besides, you got Derrick Rose and you got a couple other guys, and the Suns have CP, Ayton, and Booker, but I'm sticking with Monte Williams.
I'm going to go with Tom Thibodeau just because he is doing more with less. Monty Williams has done a great job with the Suns and the collection of guys they have, but he does have more pieces than Tom Thibodeau, and the fact that Tom Thibodeau was able to take the Knicks, who have done absolutely nothing in the last 20 years, to a 4 seed is honestly really impressive. So I think I got to give him the nod over Monty Williams.
Yeah. Well, when Brad brought this dumpster fire of collection of players to the finals, Eastern Conference
Never
finals,
gets any respect. That's okay.
They gave it to who was the Raptors guy? Who was the Raptors coach that got fired that year? What was his name? I forget his name. He's coaching in the league now. I forget. On the tip
of my goddamn tongue.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's my point. No one can know. No one probably knows who this guy is. He got fired. He was the coach of the year and got fired. Brad brought up. I can't take it. So Tibbs probably. I would give it to either of those guys. Defensive player of the year: Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Ben Simmons.
Jeez,
that's close. I don't know.
I'm gonna go Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I'll go Ben Simmons just for different. I'm kind of against Draymond right now. I'm not a big fan of Draymond right now.
Is Ben Simmons that good at defense? I don't watch any Sixers games.
I think if you look at it like his...
People slobber over his defensive prowess.
Yeah. I think he's a really good defender, but...
Is he? Okay. I don't know. I honestly don't know. All I know is Doris Burke fucking loses her shit over... Ben Simmons is the greatest defender of maybe in the league. And I'm like, is he that good?
I couldn't stand listening to Doris. That both of them. I couldn't stand listening to them the other day. They were just
hate Boston,
annoying.
dude. They
They
hate
do.
Boston.
Well, she's from New York, so she loves New York teams. So it was just annoying. She said like 3 positive things about the Celtics, and it was just annoying to listen to.
I'm sure they hate him, and that was it.
Yeah. Most improved. This is like a slam dunk. This isn't even close. But Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., and Julius Randle. I don't think this is that close, Dave.
I think I'd give it to Grant.
No way.
I'd
There's
give it to Grant,
zero
dude.
shot.
He came from nothing. Randall was a high pick in the draft, and he played on the Lakers and contributed. I think Grant came out of nowhere more than Randall did.
Julius Randle was traded to New York for pennies, and now I think he was top 10 in voting for MVP. I think he was like, I forget what it was, but he was like towards the top end of the thing of MVP. Jeremy Grant, yeah, I'm not saying those two guys stink. Like Michael Porter Jr. played excellent this year. I think it wasn't that big of a jump for him from last year. He was playing great last year. I think he just was hurt. Jeremy Grant taking nothing. I wanted him on the Celtics. I wanted the Celtics to trade for him. I thought he was going to be a great piece for the Celtics. But what Julius Randle is doing in New York, we thought he was good. I had a lot of faith in him. The Lakers had no faith. Obviously, the Pelicans didn't have too much faith. New York had some faith. But he's taken that team and put it on like a Dora the Explorer backpack and carried this team to the 4 seed. Who else is on his team? You talked about Tibbs. Who else is on his team? Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose needs heat and ice before, pre, during, and after games. Like, he's just old. That team has like a bunch of collection of old veterans, which works. But he is carrying that team to the 4 seed and is going to carry them through the first round of the playoffs. I think it's not even close. Julius Randle gets my vote. He was my pick all season for the last 2 times we've done this. But I can see the point for Grant. Any other year, I'd say Grant has a good shot. But this season, man, I think it's a slam dunk. Rookie of the year: LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. This is close. Like, this is a close one.
I give it to. Give yours. I need to check one thing for that.
I lean Edwards. It's close between Edwards and Ball. I lean Edwards because he played a complete season. But LaMelo, even though LaMelo Ball was out, I think he was the best rookie when he was on. He plays like a pro. Like, he's like, they're all pros, but if that makes sense, he plays like he's been doing this for years. And I think LaMelo Ball, when he was on the floor, outplayed Anthony Edwards. But with that said, I think, and Anthony Edwards had a tough start. It's close, man. It's really close. I think based on, like, since LaMelo missed a good portion of the season, I think it goes to Anthony Edwards. But man,
I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards because he almost averaged 20 points.
That's what I'm saying.
So he almost averaged 20 points, and LaMelo was hurt for a majority of the season. So I'm going to give it to Anthony Edwards. I know Ball has the name, the media recognition. He's the fun pick, and he was the odds-on favorite at the beginning of the season. But it's like Zion last year. You can't just kind of swoop in after an injury, play a couple games, and go off your name alone. So I think that set a good precedent last year that we're not just going to hand this to guys that have the bigger name and didn't play games. So I think Edwards will get this.
I agree to a point, but I don't think it's like name I mean, a part of it is name recognition, but dude, I've seen him play, and he, like, Lonzo is name recognition. I think he's famous for his name recognition. LaMelo Balls, dude, he is like really.
I think it's so similar to the Zion thing that I don't think they're just going to give it to him.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said I lean Anthony Edwards on that one, because he played the entire year. I will say Anthony Edwards was awful the first couple months of the season. So if you think about it, like he missed. He didn't miss. He played, but he was terrible for a month and a half. LaMelo was out for a month and a half. So, like, I don't know, but I agree. He played the whole season. He played great for most of the season. Played excellent most of the season. So he had a slow start. But I go Anthony Edwards on that one too. I think this is the last one. Yep. Kia NBA Sixth Man of the Year. We had Clarkson, Joe Ingles, Derrick Rose.
I think we went over this when we did our predictions.
Yeah, I think this was
I'm gonna
the
go,
three that we.
I'm gonna go Joe Ingles because I think he adds a little bit more than Clarkson. I know the Jazz had the best record in the West, so it kind of can give it a little bit more to Rose because he was on a fourth seed team, kind of scraping and clawing. But I'm gonna go Joe Ingles.
I'm gonna go Jordan Clarkson. I'm sticking with my guy for two reasons. One, I looked it up last time we did it, but I think he was averaging like 20 points off the bench. I forget. I looked it up when we did like the full breakdown and we did the thing. He's averaging 18.4 points off the bench. He's actually it's not really a knock, I guess. You can't really make this as a knock on Ingles, but Ingles just made the cutoff for being eligible for sixth man. I think you can't start more than 30, let's say it's 35 games and he started 31. So like, he started for almost half the season. He's more of a starter. I think of Joe Ingles as a starter, so that's kind of why I lean there. And Clarkson was he gave the juice off the bench. I think they're both great. All three of them are great players. Derrick Rose, you got to give credit to too for doing what he's doing. But I'm same reasons. I mean, we did the same debate before, so I don't think it's worth doing it again. But I think it's Clarkson. So that's we were pretty dead on our picks last time. So that's encouraging for us. Let's move on. We're going to move on to Patriots news. Real quick reactions. There's a star wide receiver rumored to be linked with the New England Patriots. He's been rumored for the last 5 years, it feels like, but this seems like it's real. Julio Jones wants to come to the New England Patriots, reports. If you do anything based on who they follow on Instagram, unfollowed and deleted all his Falcons pictures, you know who he's following now? The Patriots, baby. He's following the Patriots. If you're going to base it off Instagram, I think he's already, buy your jerseys now because he's already set. I guess he's rumored he wants to play with Cam for some reason. I love Cam. I think he's fun to be around, but I wouldn't want to play with him if he's going to throw balls at my ankles. But hey, if it means if knowing Cam Newton, wanting to play with Cam Newton gets us Julio Jones, on our team, you know what? Sign me up. Buy my Cam Newton jersey today because he's getting us all these guys. He's got us Hunter Henry. He got us Juwan Smith. He's going to get us Julio. He's getting all those guys. So general reactions, Danny Football. Are you excited to get Julio Jones or no?
I would trade any amount of first-round picks for Julio Jones. I'd probably trade my left arm for Julio Jones. I don't want this guy on the Patriots. I need this man on the Patriots, not just to contribute now, whether he does actually want to play with Cam Newton. That's fine. He can play with Cam Newton.
Mac Daddy, baby.
I'm thinking down the line when it does become Mac Jones's team. You're telling me he can toss the ball to Hunter Henry, Smith, and Julio Jones? That's perfect.
Talk about a red zone, just juggernaut for the
1000%.
Patriots.
So I'm all in on this for short-term and long-term, big picture. This could change the trajectory of this team by seasons. This could change everything. This could speed up the clock exponentially. So if I'm Bill Belichick and the Falcons are ringing me saying, hey, what would you give us for Julio Jones? I'm saying, who don't you want? What don't you want? Because I'm willing to unload damn near everything to get this man in a Patriots uniform.
Well, there's rumors of what the deal is. Have you heard what the deal is that people are rumored?
No.
You're going to laugh. This is what the Falcons are rumored to be. The deal that is potentially in place. I think there's already, according to someone, they said the deal's already is going to be made in the next couple of days, but it's not going to be announced for a little bit. This is the deal. N'Keal Harry and a conditional third-round pick.
That can't be real. There's no
It's
chance that's real.
This is multiple reports saying this.
No chance.
It's
If
N'Keal Harry.
that would be worse than the Hopkins deal. There's no way that can be.
N'Keal Harry and a conditional third-round pick. That's what multiple people are saying.
I mean, I'd do it in a heartbeat, but that would easily be worse than the Hopkins deal. A second and David goddamn Johnson for D-Hop. That could possibly be the worst trade in NFL history.
Now here's the thing, like there could be I don't see how they can make that trade. That's pretty ridiculous. They are really bad on cap space, like they're trying to get under the cap. So they're kind of just trying to unload Julio and get as much as they can. Maybe they believe in N'Keal. Fresh start.
I sure shit don't.
Good. I'm out on N'Keal Harry, so if you want to take a chance on him, go ahead. I hope it works out for you. And then, they get a conditional pick if he does well. He gets this. You get this pick. If he doesn't do well, you get a third-round pick. I don't. Or if he stinks, you get a higher pick. If he pans out, you get a third-round pick. I don't really know what the deal is. We won't know until it's announced. But that's just down the pipeline, Danny Football. That's what I'm hearing from multiple people.
Hot seat. Do you think that deal is done by the next time we record?
Well, they said they want to make it. They're going to have it done by the next time we record, but they're not going to announce it for some reason. They're waiting to announce it for something. I don't know if how accurate that is, but that's like I've heard that too. Like they are going to have a deal done. Julio's going to be on the move, but we don't know where it's going to be. They're waiting till like a certain date to announce it. So I don't know, man. I hope it's done by the time I want to start making trades in my dynasty league to get Julio Jones on my team. So I just made a big trade in dynasty. I just got Trevor Lawrence. I flipped Justin Fields and a bunch of picks to get Lawrence and Robert Woods. My team has no wide receivers. It's pretty my best wide receiver is John Brown and Cole Beasley on that team. So I needed a wide receiver help. But I got Trevor Lawrence for the future and Robert Woods. Speaking of dynasty, I thought a little dynasty news wouldn't hurt. But yeah, man, I hope he's on by the time we finish this pod. I hope he's done. I hope my phone blows up right after this pod ends. That's how much I hope.
That's how much I want this.
That would be awesome. I'd be a happy camper if we get Julio Jones. Moving on. We're gonna move on to the Red Sox. Woo Sox. Starting with the Red Sox, they just keep rolling. They won their series against the Jays, dropped a game, but they still won the series. And again, I think they lost today.
They did. Yeah.
They were losing when we started. I don't know if they finished.
Yeah, it's over.
But they still won the series against the Phillies. Look good. Like we said, you gotta win the series. You can afford to drop a game here and there, but as long as you win. The series win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, you're going to be in good shape down the stretch. The one thing I'm getting nervous with is the Yankees are starting to find their way. The Rays are kind of feeling it out. The Jays are right behind us. So, and the Orioles are the Orioles. So, we need to keep this going. We can't let up, and I hope we continue this train rolling throughout the whole summer.
Right. So, if you're winning 2 out of every 3 games in your winning series, I mean, you're doing really all you can do.
Right.
You can't help that the Rays are on a 10-game win streak. The Yankees are on a 6-game win streak. Water's going to find its level. The Rays are going to start losing games eventually. The Yankees are going to start losing games eventually. If you can keep your pace of winning 2 out of 3, you're going to be fine. This Red Sox team is fine. Dropping one of 3 is not the end of the world.
Yeah, that does.
So they're consistent. They're winning series. The pitching is there. The bats are there. I'm more convinced that the Rays' run of luck is going to end. You're not going to win 10 in a row every single time. So that's going to find its level. The Yankees are going to cool off. The Rays will cool off. The Blue Jays are starting to slip a little bit. They're on a 5-game losing streak. So we'll see what happens with them. I'm sure they'll bounce back, but who knows? Tied for first with the Rays. Yankees are a half game back. We knew the AL East was going to be a tough road. I knew we weren't going to run away with it, but I like where we're at May 23rd. heading into June, if you told me we're gonna be tied for first, I would have been happy with that.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, like you said, everything's going to even out in the end, and hopefully, if we can win, just keep winning series, we'll be okay. We can't go on. We can't afford to go on like a 6-game losing streak though in this series.
That
We got
that would set us back.
my guy, Garrett Richards. I made the wager with you, buddy, and you were a run and a third of an inning away from getting winning the bet. But still a great outing out of him. He picked up the W, got some help from the offense, 7-3 against the Blue Jays. Your guy Kiki had a nice RBI in that game. Garrett Richards pitched 6 2/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Garrett, I'm opening up the bet again because you were so close. I'm opening it up again. Same rules, 7 innings, 1 run. That's what I'll give you. I'll give you no more than a run earned and 7 innings pitched. That's what I need, and I will buy an authentic Garrett Richards jersey.
He goes again on Tuesday, 7:10 pitch against the Braves.
That's a tough team.
I mean, he'll earn it if he can do it there.
Yep. Is it in Atlanta?
It is at Fenway. Home
Fenway
game.
action. Maybe we'll go. What day is it?
Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not going.
I'm not going.
I'll watch it on TV. Celtics play that night. Cool. So, well, bets on. Looking at the minor league club, before we get into Danny Football's Game 2 return to Polar Park, can we just take a minute and ask Chaim Bloom, please bring up Duran. He's going to help in left field. This kid is tearing it up.
It is nothing short of a miracle that Franchi Cordero still has a job on the Boston Red Sox. I know he hit an absolute missile today, but it's too much too late, man. Like, this guy sucks. He's bad. And seeing Jarren Duran in person twice so far, this kid is an absolute moose. This dude has bombs. I'm not saying he barely clears the wall. He hit one yesterday that left the stadium.
475. I heard.
Cleared right field, cleared the wall, cleared the seats, cleared the friggin' vendors behind the concourse. It was out of there. He sent that onto friggin' Main Street in Worcester. This dude is an animal, and I can't believe he's not on the Red Sox yet.
He's a moose. I like that. He's the moose. That's his nickname. The moose.
I call him the polar bear.
The polar bear. Well, what happens when he goes to Fenway?
He's still the polar bear. He's the greatest Woo Sock of all time right now.
He's definitely the greatest in franchise history. I was watching it on Nesson. That was a Nesson game that you were at the other day. And I saw his 2 home runs, and they were absolute missiles.
My guy was a triple short of the cycle and said, "Nah, fam," and then hits another home run.
It's like he can't help but hit.
Triple short of the cycle, and he decides to just go yard for the second time on the day. Insane.
He can't help it. All he can do is hit bombs. He's a moose.
He literally can't stop. 5 for 5, 2 singles, 2 home runs, and a double.
What else does the guy have to do?
I don't know. He's batting .299, borderline .300. I think he's top 5 in AAA with home runs. I don't know what he could possibly do. He's an aggressive base runner. He's a great fielder. I don't know what more he could possibly do to get called up, especially considering our outfielder sucks.
Not all of them. Are you saying just Franchi?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a roster spot available. It's not like they're all nails and there's just nowhere for him to go. There's somewhere he can go.
Franchi's has been pretty bad. The only tough thing with him is you can't send him down without him being picked up, which I think they still believe in him. And I still kind of believe in him too. He's just been really bad. But yeah, man, if there was a way to send Franchi down to AAA without losing him, I would 100% trade Duran up there. I think it's time, man. How many more bombs does he have to hit 500 feet away? 500 feet. Like, I don't understand it. Like, the kid's I like it. I think you're absolutely right. The guy is an absolute moose, and he just hits dingers every single time he comes up to the plate. They said on the broadcast, he's in the last week, I'd say he's hit 12 hits. I forget what it is. He's hit like 2 singles. Everything else is extra bases, doubles, home runs.
The game I went to on the 16th, he hit an extra base. He had an extra base hit that was a double, and he just said, "F it, I'm gonna try to stretch this to a triple." This dude gets it. He plays great baseball, and he wants to win, and he wants to contribute, and he wants to be the best player. And I don't know. I don't see how you can deny him for much longer.
He's an all-around player. That's my best way. He's like all-around power, fielding, like everything. He's got it. But talk a little bit about your game 2 to Polar Park, man. How was the game?
Before we get too far, I just want to point out that Andrew Benintendi's batting .288 in Kansas City. So we'll just get a little insight into why maybe Franchi's getting a little more extra leash, because the guy we traded for him is actually doing well. And maybe we shouldn't have given up so easily on him. But regardless.
Yeah, I can't, like, I'm not a big fan of that. Like people say that, because we've heard this for the last 3 years. Trade Benintendi, get rid of him. Everyone's done on him. And I wasn't so much on that, but I also knew, like, I think time had run its course, and like both sides were kind of fed up with each other. And I mean, yeah, like I thought this kid was special. I mean, I thought it wasn't as good as maybe he was the first like couple years, but he still was a stud. I just think it's time. Like everyone wanted him out. Like I didn't personally. I still kind of believed in him a little bit. I thought you'd give him another year because you franchise tagged him, but I don't know. He was also batting 190 in the first couple weeks, and everyone's like, "See, he sucks." See, he's awful. So I don't know. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It hurts when.
But you're probably right. We can't send him down
when Franchi is just this bad, and we're like, well, we could have done a million other things, and we still can't with Jarren Duran. Anyway, game 2 was great. Espinal was on fire. That dude only gave up, I think it was 4 hits through. I think he went 5, something like that. So pitching was pretty good.
He looked really good.
The relievers came in. Relievers were pretty solid. Matt Hall made an appearance in the 9th. Things got a little dicey. Iced the game.
Bobby P, my boy Bobby P.
Christian Arroyo was there. He went 0 for 2. That was a little disappointing.
Christian Arroyo, that's pretty good representation. He was there. He was at the game.
He was definitely there. But, dude, this team is fun. I mean, Duran with the home run. We had back-to-back jacks in the 2nd inning.
Jeter Downs
hit an absolute missile to center field. This team is good. This team is fun. It's such a good product to watch. The ballpark's beautiful. The team's fun to watch. I love the team. I love the ballpark. I love everything about what's going on right now. I know it's early, but I love what's going on. It's a good collection of guys. It seems like they enjoy playing in Worcester. It looks like they're really embracing the city. So, I mean, I have nothing but good things about Polar Park. I have nothing but good things about the Woo Sox. Jarren Duran, I hope he stays forever, but obviously he's going to have to go at some point. But I love watching him. Downs is great to watch. Their defense is solid. There's so many good gloves down here in Worcester. And I mean, all these guys hit rockets. They all have power in their hands. Herman, the catcher, is solid behind the plate. I mean, there's not really a loose link in the chain down here in Worcester. And I know people get on Dombrowski for blowing up the farm system, and I don't know if this is credit to Chaim Bloom, or maybe it just took a little bit of time, but it's starting to look like the farm system's slowly but surely starting to come back to life. Because this team outside of Duran, who's obviously you know the next big thing, Jeter Downs, who people have a lot of promise for, there are some no-name guys that are really starting to put it together and build a case for themselves that maybe if an injury happens here or there, or a trade happens here or there, they could get a chance. Kyle Hart is a huge one. Kyle Hart's a huge one. He's been lights out down here.
That was a guy I told you about preseason.
Absolutely, dude.
I love Kyle Hart, dude. He's a stud. I think he'll be good. I don't know if he's gonna make the club this year, but definitely in the next year or so.
Right.
I would love to see him up in the bull, just being a pen guy. You know what I mean? I agree. I loved watching him play. Let's go. The other guy, I don't know who he is, but the first baseman made a couple big plays in that game you had too, that you went to too. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he had some good plays, but it's his positioning, man. He's so good at positioning that there were a couple rockets hit down the first base line, and he was just perfectly in position, didn't have to move, glove up, ball in, and he was good to go.
Yeah.
So, like I said, these guys are pretty good on defense, whether it's just defensive assignment and positioning or what. But these guys are good at the plate and behind their pitcher. And some of the relievers aren't so great. There are a couple starters that are here and there, but between Kyle Hart, Duran, Jeter Downs, and some of these other guys that are really starting to make a case, I love this team. Love this team. 10-7, baby. 10-7.
10-7. It was interesting you mentioned about Dombrowski. Like, I feel like a lot of people give him a hard time about blowing it up, but that's like, people forget that's what he does. Like, I wasn't surprised one bit of what he did when he was here, and everyone gives him a hard time. He won us a championship. Let's not forget. Like,
we knew that was going to be the trade-off. He did it in Detroit. He absolutely torched their farm system, and he got them a couple, a World Series appearance and a couple ALCSs. So it is what it is. He destroys the farm system, brings in proven guys, and tries to win it all, and he did it.
And he won it all. Like, I don't get what everyone's all upset about. His thing is spend.
Once the winning stops, then all of a sudden it's, why don't we have any prospects? It's like, well, we sold our soul to the devil to win a championship. We got the championship, and now we're paying the price.
Right. But, like, I don't know. I feel like people in Boston, I think it's part of being in Boston, like us winning so much. It's like there's teams that haven't won ever.
Right.
And we did everything. Like, they would do the same thing. They would sell their soul to get a championship. We did that. Like, we did everything we could to win a championship. We brought in, like, stud guys, and that's what we did. Like, I don't think I hear this all the time. Like, Dave Dombrowski's awful. He's a terrible GM. I don't think so. He won a World Series. Like, that's my track record with him. We won a World Series with him.
No, it's just people finding something to get mad about when we lose, because you start losing, all of a sudden it's, oh, well, why don't we bring up any young guys? We don't have any because we traded them all. Then it's like, well, that was stupid. And so it's a never-ending cycle of people just wanting to be mad about something.
Right.
Just to close out the Woo Sox talk, I reloaded for June. I got June 6th, June 19th, and June 20th. So I'll have three more reports for everyone next month.
And we'll get the company outing too to Worcester too. We gotta make a company outing. We still gotta ask Jared if he's available. Get Jared to come out to Worcester. But yeah, I'm excited. This team looks great, and I think we actually do have some great farm guys down below. There's just not, like, there is spots, but there isn't enough spots. Who's the guy that played up with us last year, who was part of the Rule 5? I forget his name. He played the other day. Middle infielder.
Oh man, I don't know the Rule 5 guys. Hold on.
He was like the first one in years. Oh man.
I mean, Whitlock's one.
No, not him. He played the other day. Anyways, doesn't matter. Like, there's like not like Jeter Downs, like everyone's playing really well. And while there is spots
Are
for
you
like
talking about Jonathan Aruz?
Yeah.
Aruz,
yeah. He's been playing really good for them too. But like you said, there's a lot of great guys down there. And I can't wait to see this team go far. I hope there's a playoff or something where they can show what they got, because they're studs. We're going to move on to our last segment of the night. It's the People's Topic.
It's the People's Topic, baby! People's Topic.
So for People's Topic, you can write in every week to our Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. Give us a topic, what you think. This week, we're just doing one. Danny Football's got to tear it up on the soccer field, so we're gonna.
Up. The only thing I'm going to be tearing up on that soccer field is my knee.
Oh, nice! I tore up.
Nice.
I played this morning basketball on my back. I can't move. Like, after I may just sleep in this chair. So comes from, we're picking one. It's our boy, Joseph_Celia. He writes, Celtics question for you, Danny
Ooh,
Football.
All right.
Would adding Bradley Beal next year to the Celtics be enough to take down the Nets? My answer is no.
No. It
Be-
depends. No.
It would help.
In a bubble, it doesn't. You would need more. You need more bench help, and you need. Yeah, you need a couple more role guys. Bradley Beal definitely helps close the gap, but you need more bench guys.
Yeah,
I don't think it solves the problem by itself.
Yeah, because all you're doing is adding another guy in
That
there.
being said, that needs to be the move that is the priority move.
Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm. I think you have the rapport with Tatum. You know, hopefully the Sixers were able to get the Wizards out of there quick, so it looks even worse. So I'm hoping for a quick exit, and I'm hoping Tatum can actually recruit this guy over here.
I hope so too. I think it definitely is step one, and then from there, let's make some magic happen with some role guys. And like I said, some veteran presence in there. I hope we get some veteran guys. But thanks, Joseph Celia. He's a gentleman and a scholar. You can remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a like on this video as well as other videos. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you leave a review on Apple Podcast and tell a friend. That's it for this week's episode of Big Red Zone. My thanks to Danny Football, as always.
Go Woo Sox, guys. Go Woo Sox.
Go Woo Sox. Go whatever soccer team you're playing for. And have a great week, everyone.